This episode of the Blerd Mob contains explicit language. While we want everyone to enjoy the show, sometimes we may say things that are not appropriate for all ages. So, in other words, Mom, Dad, Granny, we cussing. Discretion is advised.
King G, Grow Site, ENT. Rock with it, rock with it, rock with it, rock with it. Let me pop my shit. Let me pop my shit. Hands up.
What's up, y'all, and welcome to the Blerd Mob, your hub for all things black and nerdy. I'm your host, Phoop, joined by my two co-hosts, Ryun and Ralph. If you're listening to this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any other streaming service, make sure you hit that follow button so you can get updates from the mob.
And if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on those bell notifications for future uploads.
That was real extra, bro. But I feel you. As you can see, my two co-hosts are suited up. We just went to Orlando, like a week or so ago for a whole week. So we had some fun with that. We're gonna get into that, but first, I want to make some mob announcements before we get into the episode. So I would like to say, first announcement is the mob is going on hiatus until July 2022. I don't know the exact date. I am in the process of moving, so to make sure I get all of that out the way. If you've ever moved before, you know it's a lot of stuff that you got to deal with. So I'm going to be taking some time off to make sure I get all of that done and situated. And I should be done with all of that by July. So we'll be back then. That's episodes versus Tuesdays. Mob reviews will all be on hiatus until July 2022. So we will see you guys then. Other announcement. Next month, the Blerd Mob will be at DreamCon, hosted by RDC World from July 15th to July 17th. So if you're going to DreamCon, make sure you catch us there. We'll be passing out stickers. So make sure you come get you some Blerd Mob merch. Come chat with us. And yeah, so those are our two announcements. So let's get into this Orlando trip. If you follow us on Instagram, you saw we posted a couple pictures, but you guys haven't really heard from us as far as I experience. So let's get into Orlando. The first thing I want to know from you guys, because we went to a lot of parks. We went to, for the Disney side, we went to Epcot, Hollywood Studios, and Magic Kingdom, and then we did both sides of Universal. So out of all of that, what would you guys say your favorite rides were?
Favorite park or favorite ride?
Favorite rides.
Okay. I got a top 3.
Okay.
Because it's hard to say my number 1. Y'all know which one was my favorite, but it's hard to say my number 1 without saying the top 3. That Jurassic World Velocicoaster, y'all.
That jump was...
How did Portia describe it? My butt never touched the seat after we hit liftoff.
My ass left the seat. And when my ass left the seat, I was like, yo, what the fuck? I was holding on to that little hand grip thing for dear life. Yeah. I wasn't touching shit.
Listen, bro. For anybody who ain't rode it, the ride start off cool. You seeing the dinosaurs. You're like, oh my gosh, it's so fast. She didn't even see him. You hit that one boost. Now you swirling all over the place, head about to dive into the ocean. Yo. You don't know what's gonna happen. That roller coaster was lit.
I knew it was gonna be some BS. When it pulled back,
at the beginning,
I was like, "Here we go."
What happened? I don't ride roller coasters. I want to let that known that I am not that girl. But I was like, I want to ride the Velocicoaster because it's new, and I don't know when the next time I'm gonna be at Orlando. So I got on that coaster, and I enjoyed it. I was hollering and screaming the whole time, but
Portia was right next to me.
I was in that when it sped up that second time. I like the first half of the ride. I was like, woo woo, that boost, bruh. I was oh shit.
And they were swirling throughout the whole freaking ride. You never felt like you were stable, bro.
No.
Okay, so
the second ride,
I think I was the only person that had their hands in the air the entire time.
Man,
I had them up until we went over that water. After we went over that water, I had to hold on. I was gonna fall out.
When we went over that water, fall out.
So what's your second? What's your second ride, Ryan?
The one that kicked you and me off because it was too fat. Hagrid's Magical Creatures motorbike. I
want to talk about this. I want to clear the record of what actually happened.
I thought y'all were going to jail. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, I thought they was finna kick us off the whole ride. I was like, ain't no way y'all made me wait in line for like an hour to kick me off this ride. So this is
right.
So this what happened. I didn't want to be in the motorbike part because because it was lifted. Like, we finna get on a roller coaster and you want me in this elevated ass seat. I already told y'all I am not that girl. So I told Ryan, get in the motorbike and I want to be in the sidecar. Bitch too thick for the sidecar. you
got too much booty. It's because you got too much booty. That's what it was.
I was a bit too thick for the sidecar. So they snatched both me and Ryan off. And I'm like, yo, what's happening? They got more people behind us. I was like, they finna kick us off the ride. But they
said we going to a training simulation.
Right. They said they taking y'all to a test seat and just to see. So we had to switch spots and I had to end up being in the motorbike anyway. So I was like, yo, I didn't really want to be in the motorbike. But the ride was cool though. So I'm gonna let Ryan get back to it. But I just want to clear the record of what happened on that ride.
Listen, even the line was dope. One, I had no idea what part of Harry Potter we was in, but it was dope. We saw a lot of fun stuff. But when me and Portia when they took me and Portia off that ride, we looking at Ralph and our boy McMillian. Like I was like, Phoop, I already know they finna think we got kicked out. They ain't gonna know what to do.
They was looking at us confused. I'm looking at them confused. Like
you confused? I'm confused, bro.
I was like, should we get off this ride right now? Like, what's
right? But that's number 2. What's your number 3?
Oh, I gotta say how dope the ride was. Let me tell y'all something. They messed me and Phoop up. When they hit, I don't want to ruin it for y'all, but they hit this drop. Like, and I don't mean like roll down roller coaster drop. I'm talking about the rails drop.
I'm talking
into a whole nother room.
I'm talking about mega drop type drop.
Going backwards, hitting all kind of swoops and swirls. It was almost as lit. It was pretty much just as lit as the Velocicoaster. And they had 3 boosts?
Yeah.
Like there was 3 rev ups.
They sped up 3 times, sent us backwards, dropped us, and sped up again.
That was fun. That battled the Velocicoaster for first place. Not even gonna lie, they should be tied.
Nah, for real. So what's your number 3?
My third ride, it was kind of hard, but I gotta say the Incredible Hulk coaster.
Okay.
It did get me lit. That rev up from the beginning, like it. What I like about it was consistent. It let me know I was risking my life from the jump. It didn't surprise me, so I liked it. It was consistent.
Okay. What about you, Ralph? You got a favorite ride, or you got a top 3 like Ryan?
I have a top 3.
All right, let's get it.
And number 1 has to be the Velocicoaster.
Okay.
We already went through that. That was probably the best one that I've been on at Universal. So, number 2, that was actually kind of tough. I want to say that's probably a tie between the Incredible Hulk coaster and the Hagrid's ride.
Okay, we in there.
So I feel like I should have 2 number 2s because number 3, I feel like that'll be the Hollywood coaster that we had our own music. That was fun.
That Rip Ride It Rocket.
That was fun.
That was lit. That was lit. That drop was nice, and that big loop, that was nice.
The fact that we had our own music to listen to during the entire ride, that topped it off. Like they had different playlists. They had, I think I ended up picking Black Eyed Peas during the time, and it was fun. The experience was good. There was some funny moments.
And Phoop and McMillan claimed they saw us.
We did.
Oh yeah, they did.
We saw Ralph Dreads and Ryan hanging onto the seat. He didn't want to put his hands up. We saw you hanging onto that seat, bro. But yeah,
I do not deny.
But I didn't do a top 3. I have my favorite ride from both Disney and Universal. My favorite ride from Disney has to be Rise of the Resistance at Hollywood Studios.
Oh yeah.
That whole waiting in line sequence, I think what I like the most is that how they had you wait in line. So not to spoil too much for those who haven't been to Hollywood Studios, you should definitely go and make sure you ride this one. But the way that you end up at the actual ride was so immersive. I love that everybody was like in character, because you start off with the Resistance and you end up on a Star Destroyer. And that's all I'm going to say. But just that transition, loved it. Top tier. If you are a Star Wars fan, your jaw will drop. So that's my number 1 coming out of Disney. My number 1 coming out of Universal, I did like the roller coasters, but my favorite ride has to be Hogwarts: The Forbidden Journey. That was dope. That was nice. The queue is walking through the Hogwarts castle, so you get to see all of the portraits and the classrooms, Dumbledore's office, the common rooms. It was really dope. And then the ride itself, like how they mixed in all the elements from all of the movies into this one ride, was dope. So that's my favorite ride. The roller coasters was cool, but I guess as far as like, I'm going like off immersion and like ride experience, and those two, they blew me out the park. So those are my top 2 rides. So let's go into the worst ride. I just need one. I want one. What is at the bottom? What is the bottom tier ride that you got on that you was like, I rode it once, I will never ride it, or not that I would never ride this shit again, but that would be like at the bottom of my list of rides that I would try to ride again if I went back to these parks.
I want to say the Carousel of Progress because it smelled funny.
It did.
And it was really slow. I want to say that, but that Mickey's Filer Magic, how do you pronounce
Mickey's
it, Portia?
It's like Philhar Magic. It's for those.
I fell asleep.
It's the show for people who don't know. It's the sit down 3D show at Magic Kingdom where Mickey is trying to do his orchestra thing, and Donald comes in and takes the little Fantasmic hat or whatever it's called, and they end up in all of the musicals from the movies. I liked it though. I guess it was the nostalgia for me, because when I went as a kid, like watching these movies growing up and then re-experience it from a different point of view was nice. I think the other thing that I liked about it going back this time is that they changed the lineup. So being able to see the show evolve, like at some certain point, and we saw this with Universal's, like they're changing rides, they're shutting down rides to bring in a new generation of entertainment. But this ride, because Disney is still making musicals, they're just evolving the ride to match the generation and the musicals that they're giving out for this newer generation. I feel you though, with it being your first time, but me, I get like, this not my first rodeo in Magic Kingdom. So just seeing how they evolved the show and that people are still coming to see it. Because versus Carousel of Progress, it was like 7 people in that hole. with us included. It was like 7 people in that hole.
But that was almost my worst one. But the thing is, I was like, I gotta be real. I didn't fall asleep in that, and it made me laugh a couple of times. That Mickey's Feller magic, Ralph. Was it you, Ralph, who was trying to knock me awake? I think I knocked back. I was like, let me sleep. Leave me alone.
This man up like 3 or 4 times throughout the entire
I was like,
I was
Ralph knocked me. I had to hit him with that.
I was so immersed in it, I didn't even know he fell asleep. Because I really like it.
It was the fact that his head was nodding forward, and it's like in the corner of my eye, he's just about to fall out of his seat. And I'm just like, Ryan, you gotta wake up.
Let me hit that.
That boy said, let me take a nap right quick before we start back walking.
Right.
And I was energized after. I was so excited after.
But all right,
I was like, I'm ready.
What's your worst ride, Ralph?
I have to say the Carousel of Progress. I did enjoy it. It was funny, except I don't think I'd get on it again. Just trying to match what you said. I don't like if I ever go to Disney again, I'm not.
I feel you.
It's like one of those things. It's like a one-time.
It's a one-time ride. Like if it's your first time, just because this is how Disney World started. That was like the first ride that Walt Disney created, and then it blew up into everything else that we saw. Right. So I feel you. It's a one and done. Carousel of Progress is a one and done. My worst ride was Pirates of the Caribbean. Let me walk.
I knew it.
Let me walk through. Let me
give us his props first. Give it his props first.
Let me walk through this. Now it did catch me off guard. The ride itself, like the detail and everything that they put into the ride is amazing.
Yeah.
I will give it that.
Top tier.
However, let's talk about my experience. First of all, they shoved me, Ryan, Ralph, and Jay. If you do not know what these men look like in person, please follow the Blerd Mob at the Blerd Mob Pod. Please go to our Orlando photos, and so y'all can see a glimpse of what these boys look like in real life. But anyway, they shoved me, all 4 of us, in the same row. So I'm squished. Like we are sardines in a can in this joint. So I'm already pissed about being squeezed into this row that I don't even notice that we go into this cave. So we go into this cave and they drop us. So they drop us in this cave, and water just splashed all in my face, all in my mouth. All in my face, all in my mouth, my clothes wet. I'm still pissed that I'm squished. Now I'm squished and wet.
A drop of water penetrated my lips and I couldn't get past it, bro. I'm like,
it was,
because I wasn't expecting it. It was dark. I didn't know it was going to get wet.
I wasn't even paying attention until we dropped. Like, I was so mad that they really squished us into this one row. Like, y'all have to see that we are big. We are some big body people. Anyway, after that, the ride was cool. I lied. The ride would have been cool had we not been on the ride with these screaming ass children in the back. So I really didn't even get.
It was like 4 of them.
I really didn't even get to. 4. Yeah, it was like a whole group of them.
It was a whole group.
I really didn't even get to enjoy the ride like I wanted to because they back there screaming and hollering and stuff. So then we get towards the last 5 minutes of the ride and all the boats backed up. We done bumped into people who done got on the ride like 10 minutes before us. So we bumper to bumper through the rest of the ride. And I was like,
getting whiplash every time a new one pops up.
Right. That's why I was like, this would be cool. This ride would have been so much better had y'all not squished me in the seat. Had all the boats not been backed up. And had them kids not been screaming. Now the water, the drop, I can't be like, if y'all wouldn't took that away, because that's part of the ride. I think I would have enjoyed it more had I been a bit more comfortable in the seat. But them 3 things right there, that was my worst ride experience. It was. It started when y'all squished me in this seat. It did.
Yeah, we some thick folks now, just trying to fit into one row.
Look, I'm 6 feet tall with wide shoulders and everything. I ain't even gonna lie. Half these rides, my legs couldn't fit first.
Oh my god, the number of times I've had to squish my knees together.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I can lose all the weight I want, but I'm still 6 feet tall with wide shoulders.
Some of them jumps was how we was in there squishing so bad they had to snatch me off a ride. But look,
I barely made it. The guy said if I wouldn't have brought my knees in more, I would have been off with y'all.
Last thing though.
That's crazy.
Last thing though for Orlando. We went to 5 theme parks. Which I want the number one. I want the number one.
The number one. The number one. What's funny? You could probably guess it. For me, Universal's Islands of Adventure.
Mm-hmm.
They got me one with the rides. Every single ride I named, Islands of Adventure. And Hogsmeade, bro. I am, y'all see these ones, a Harry Potter fan. I paid extra money to get my stuff embroidered, my name embroidered, and the whole name fit. I was able to enjoy Harry Potter. I was able to get Butterbeer for the first time. They had 2 dope Harry Potter rides in Islands of Adventure. Mm-hmm. And the Jurassic Park side was honestly lovely. I went last night. I watched the new Jurassic World Dominion movie. I was hyped up for the movie just because I enjoyed the roller coaster and the theme park. Not even gonna lie, bro.
Was the movie good?
It was solid. It's the same, we love Jurassic dinosaurs, Park, but they escape. Yeah. Okay. But it was honestly fun. I enjoyed it just because I rode the Velocicoaster and I'm like, there go the Raptors that it was themed after. Yeah. But Islands of Adventure, that was my stuff. By far, there's no competition for first place for me. It was Islands of Adventure. Now, there is a tie in second place, but I'm going to let y'all go.
All right, Ralph, what's your number one?
I have to say Islands of Adventure. I would say mainly for the experience that I got in Hogsmeade and being able to get my robe, my wands. Like, my first time, this is pretty much my first time going to both Disney World and Universal. So, with those two being said, my inner child was just let out at that point. Just being at both parks, having that experience of like being immersed into a, Hogsmeade and being like getting everything I wanted as a child, as a grown up now. Like, it was such an amazing moment for me. Like, I loved it.
Definitely.
I don't regret anything. My pockets may hurt now, but it's okay. The pockets may hurt now, but it's all right.
My wallet been crying for the past week.
Yeah,
bro. I saved up a band for this trip. That wasn't enough.
It was not enough. The band was not enough, yo.
But all in all, Islands of Adventure, loved it. I loved the experience it gave me. Everybody pretty much looking at us, giving us compliments because we all wearing our robes. That was lovely.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun. We just was missing a Gryffindor. We took a random picture with somebody.
We actually did take a picture with a.
We took a picture with somebody. She asked if she could take a picture with us. We didn't get a name or nothing. I think we was just so caught up, getting the robes in the moment. We was in the moment. Right. We didn't ask her for her name. We didn't get no picture ourselves. We didn't ask her, could you send the picture to us? We just sent some random.
We didn't ask her to follow the Blerd
mom. We was out there living. But I have to agree with y'all. Islands of Adventure is my number one. And it's not just Hogsmeade. It's the theme. Islands of Adventure. Marvel Superhero Island. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
It's like somebody drew it. It's a comic book. It feels so comic book like. And I said this to McMillian. Like, I know that in Disneyland, Disney is trying to do their Avengers campus like MCU style, but it would never compare to Marvel Superhero Island or Islands of Adventure because it's so comic book. This right here, y'all got on robes. This is my favorite souvenir. This is my favorite souvenir. Right here. But
this is mine.
And then like Ryan was saying, when you step into Jurassic World, you feel like it feels like prehistoric. And you step in, like you say, you step into Hogsmeade, and it just feels like you're in a different area all the time. Like it's like you fully immerse yourself into this one part. Even the Toontown Land that I did not ride any rides because
it was
bad
nice
experience, but it felt like you were in a cartoon. You felt that anime. Even when we walked through the Dr. Seuss part, it's like you were immersed in it. Like I really love the way that they set that up. And plus the rides were amazing. But that has to be my number one. So
okay.
I didn't expect all of y'all to say Islands of Adventure. I just knew someone was gonna say Magic Kingdom.
Magic Kingdom is my second because of the nostalgia. I love Magic Kingdom. Though it doesn't have a lot of thrill rides, it's just the feel of. I would say this: I love Magic Kingdom because of how it makes you feel when you're in it. I think I like the fact that Disney World, how it's set up, that Magic Kingdom is like an island of itself. You know, you either have to ride a boat or you have to ride a monorail. It's like you feel like you're riding up to something, and then you get there and you see the big ass castle and the music, and it's sunny, and the way they have everything set up, and then they do that little show before they let everybody go off and do their own thing. It just feels magic. It's like you're in Magic Kingdom. Like you're in Magic Kingdom. Like you forget you in Florida. Like what? Welcome.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. That's like, I'm not the biggest Disney fan. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, we've had conversations about this. I'm not the biggest Disney fan, but Magic Kingdom, every different island portion of it, I was like, I'm immersed in a whole new world.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The food was on point too, but I was immersed in a whole new world. All of the workers there being dressed to the T, folks staying in theme. Like, Portia didn't talk about that Ride of the Resistance ride as much as she could have.
I don't want to spoil it.
I don't want to spoil it, right?
But that wasn't Magic. That wasn't Magic Kingdom though. That wasn't Magic Kingdom.
But that was that idea, like right there, like throughout Magic Kingdom, like even what was in the portion where Aladdin was. What was that? What's the name of that portion?
Adventureland.
Even was in Adventureland and was getting like the fruity ice cream, and you could hear the music around. Like, I felt like I was in the world right there, bro, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
It was the nostalgia for me, like how I was saying with the ride that Ryan fell asleep on. Like, just me seeing it evolve to like, just so they can keep, tendering to the new generation. It was great.
I just want to ask why?
Because Portia showed off her favorite souvenir. I had to bust out the scarf, bro. I had to bust out the scarf.
I feel you. But that was our Orlando trip. I hope that we gave you guys some good recommendations for anybody who's planning their Orlando trip for the summer.
Wait. Before we move on, I want to say our most disappointing ride, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, because we never got an opportunity to ride the ride. Because
why would you bring that up, Ralph? I got over that.
I had to.
He wants you to be depressed.
Okay, here we go. Here the real spiel, because I want to move on. You're not finna make me sad all over again, Ralph. But I want to let everybody know who is planning a trip to Orlando summer 2022 or forward 2022, who is going to Epcot with the intent of going to the Guardians of the Galaxy ride. They do not have outside waiting. All of the waiting happens inside the building that the ride is in. And because the inside waiting is small, they're limiting the ride to a certain amount of people. So you either get a fast pass, which you're now calling Lightning Lane, or you have to get in a virtual queue. You have to download the Walt Disney app, number one.
Mm-hmm.
When I went, they had 2 virtual queues, one at 7 a.m. that you could sign up for, and then one at 1 o'clock p.m. So make sure you guys get the Disney out. Make sure you get in on the virtual queue because them junks go fast. They open exactly at the time stated, exactly at 7 and exactly at 1. And then on a special day, they may do an extended virtual queue that's at 6 o'clock. So if you are going to Orlando with the intent of getting on the Guardians of the Galaxy ride, please make sure you got your ducks in a row, because I had no idea that they were even doing that, and I didn't get to ride the ride, and I was disappointed. I wanted to throw up at Epcot at 8:30 in the morning because I could not ride the Guardians of the Galaxy ride.
Look,
like everybody walked there first. Nobody went anywhere else. Everybody literally walked straight to
Everybody went to the ride first, and like they started turning people around, and I was like, y'all, I'm sick to my stomach. I'm finna throw up.
And Phoop ain't got no real friends, because knowing that she was upset, they kept saying, "Could we do it again? Is there another way we can possibly go?"
This is a pet peeve of mine. A pet peeve of mine is when I am disappointed at something, and like people keep trying to I appreciate you guys trying to be optimistic and think of different ways that I can solve this problem, but y'all, I am upset, and the only thing that you are going to do is piss me off even further.
That's why I said nothing. I was like, to the next ride, and Phoop just over here like, dude, why are they keep bringing this up? Like she just over here like darkness.
They like, what can we do next? Like, dog, we can't do nothing. We're not riding it. But like, yeah, this is the Blerd mob is letting y'all know they got tricks up their sleeve for that Guardians of the Galaxy ride. So make sure y'all plan ahead and make sure y'all ride it. I will be watching it on YouTube and wishing I was on it. But let's get into our first topic of the day. I want to go straight into something that came up this past week that I just feel like is going to disrupt how we see messaging. So Apple did their WWDC 2022 showcase, and they showcased some new features coming with iOS 16. Lock screen customization. There's some new stuff coming with CarPlay that I think is pretty cool. But the biggest thing that they dropped, they are allowing people to edit and unsend messages now. Within 15 minutes of sending your iMessage, you have the ability to edit or unsend it. And as convenient as it may sound, I don't think that this is a good idea, y'all. I do not. This is going to get very messy real quick. And I know in y'all head, everybody was like, yo, folks finna be cheating on a astronomical level. But can we just talk about the legal stuff? Like how it's gotten to the point that people are using text messages as evidence in court and crimes. And you're meaning to tell me that we not, for 15 minutes, we have the ability to edit and unsend messages?
You can have a whole conversation in 15 minutes and then eradicate the entire conversation on both persons' phones.
That's what I should say. I'm thinking on the legal side, it won't be much of an issue because I'm pretty sure they're gonna be able to record whenever you edit, like what you're editing and also what you're deleting.
The only thing it's going to show, based on the demo that they showed, editing, they do not send. They say, they say that this message has been edited, kind of like how Discord is. If you were to edit a message on Discord, they let you know that it was edited. But if you don't know what it said before it got edited, that's it. Now it's the same thing. It's the same thing with the unsending. They will let you know that someone has unsent a message, but you will not know what was unsent. That's what I'm saying. Like, when it gets to like the legal stuff, they're just going to get a thread of text messages that say so-and-so unsent. They have no idea what they just unsent. They just got a whole thread of unsent messages.
That's what I was going to say. We don't know the details behind that because phone carriers, to my knowledge, they can track text messages from like months, like years back. But the thing is, I don't understand how those messages are going to be in the system. Like, if I was to send 10 messages in a row, unsend all of them or edit all of them, I don't know if that phone carrier is going to have like 20 messages, the original 10, and then the 10 that 10 edited ones, or what. I don't know the logistics behind that.
I don't know
that
the
is
logistics either. So you brought up a good point about the phone carriers. Now, I would be less concerned if the phone carriers could still get the messages, even though physically on iMessage, I see that you unsent it. Now, if they still got record that you sent it, I'm a bit more comfortable with that. But if it gets unsent and disappears on both ends, that's what I'm concerned about.
Man,
like this is going to get messy. Like, as convenient as it is, you send something but you didn't really mean, or you messed up, you did a bunch of typos and you want to fix your message. It's very convenient on that end. But unsending stuff, or you edit the message to make it seem like you didn't even say like what you previously just said, like that is crazy. Like, so I think this is one of those things where y'all just have to let it ride. You made a typo, you messed up, you have to let that ride.
But I gotta be honest, there's a lot of times where I've probably sent a text, I'm like, wrong person, or I'm trying to flirt with my chick. Well, I ain't done this in like recent history, and it goes to my mom. I'm saying good morning. I'm saying good. I'm sitting here saying good morning, baby, and then my mom texts me back like, who's your baby? Who are you talking to? I'm like, ooh, mama, that's for my chick.
But this in the silliest of situations, because that is silly. In the silliest of situations, it's convenient, but it's dangerous. That is dangerous. Like, I'm sending a message to Ralph like, bitch, I'm about to come to your house and beat the fuck out of you and unsend that junk. Like, I never said that I was coming to his house to beat him up. Like, that is dangerous. Or I edit the message from, I'm about to beat you up, I'm just gonna come to your house and give you a box or something like that. Like,
it's one of those double-edged swords though, because email been able to do this, and a lot of other text messaging apps that aren't to come in iMessage or Google, or like at Google Messages, like folks use WhatsApp and everything else everywhere else, and they got similar features. Like, honestly, this is kind of late, but I mean, it's just a double-edged sword.
It's late.
People are going to use it for malicious intent, but
yeah. It's late. I don't know. I guess you made a good point, because Discord, you can edit messages, you can delete messages. Other apps can do the same thing, but I just see it being dangerous that iMessage is one of the top primarily used messaging apps. Because everybody has not like, of course, other people have other phones, but there's a large population of people that use iPhones. A very large population. Like, we talked about Discord, but everybody doesn't have Discord, But I mean, you would find more people who have an iPhone that use iMessage than you find somebody who's using Discord.
I mean, the real issue is, which is funny, like, I know we like to forget this. The majority of Americans and even people around the world are Android users. The second Google says Android messages can use this, because in the UK and in Europe, they use other messaging apps. They use WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, everything else. But the second Google says we want to do the same thing, or the Samsung devices edit their default messaging apps and they can do the same thing, you ain't never going to know what to trust through text messages. You can't trust screenshots. For real. You can't trust nothing anymore.
For real.
You won't be able to trust nothing.
For real. I guess I don't think it's a good idea because of that. Because of the trend that it could start. All it takes for Apple to have this feature and it blows up and everybody else be like, okay, let's do it. And if the phone carriers, going back to your phone carrier thing, Ron, if those phone carriers are not tracking all these messages, it's about to be a mess.
It's gonna be a mess regardless, though.
Man, listen.
Because you I would say I don't think everybody's gonna go to the point of trying to edit every message into their favor, except you will have those extremists that will go and do that.
And that's what I'm talking about. We gonna see about it when iOS 16 drops. It's not gonna be immediately when it starts, but wait a couple months, and something is going to happen where somebody was using this feature to the extreme.
Mm-hmm.
And we gonna see how well both the phone carriers and iMessage can back that up. How that's going to play out.
It's interesting, bro. Because I see the benefits. As a kid, I wish this existed. Like when I was younger and I'll be texting fast 10 different people at the same time. Yeah, I wish this existed. But as an adult, I can definitely see the malicious things that can occur with this new feature.
And I guess maybe Apple saw it because you also have to do like a risk assessment with stuff like this. If maybe they saw the risk of something like that happening might have been smaller than the benefits of putting this feature out there. But I'm thinking of like that risk that somebody may use this to the extreme and shit goes off the fan. But
right.
The other thing I want to talk about from Apple is they're upgrading CarPlay. But they're upgrading it to the point where even your screens, like, they're fully emerging it with your vehicle system. Like, so when I was watching the demo, like the gauges and stuff that tells you like your speed and stuff, that's being integrated with CarPlay. Like Apple is putting in they have their own screens for that type of stuff. And then they're also letting you personalize your CarPlay, like what you see on the dashboard screen. Like if you want to see the weather, if you like, say this is like the screen, right? And this portion of it is Google Maps or Apple Maps, whatever you're using. Then on this side, you split it in half, and on the top part is like the weather, whatever state you're in, and at the bottom you got like Spotify or Apple Music. So they're allowing you to move stuff around, which I think is pretty cool because I don't use CarPlay a lot. When I go on long trips, I use CarPlay because I want my GPS up, music, if I need to make a phone call, I have all that stuff up. But at the same time, I'm pressing through a bunch of buttons to even get to that point. So that customization, like of the dashboard stuff, I feel like for me, I feel like it would be pretty useful just to have all that stuff like on one screen,
very nice,
instead of me like clicking around on stuff.
So my only thing with it did look very cool, but we also got to accept the fact that they said vehicles with this feature will be announced next year. We should be hearing announcements, but it will take a vehicle having to be built around Apple software to integrate it in such a way that it looks like the example they gave. Because you got to realize,
I think at the minimum that because they're going to send an update out, I think at the minimum the dashboard customization will be available for every car that can use CarPlay. Now the other features that like with the gauges and stuff, I'm with you that cars
have to be built
they're going to have
that.
to be built around to use that technology. Like I know I would be very surprised if my car out the gate can support that. But I think at the minimum that we will be able to get is that dashboard customization feature.
Yeah, I would,
because everybody has that.
And
I would say probably the newer cars of maybe like 2020 might, have a quote unquote close enough feature of doing that, but it's going to be real close. And I'm pretty sure like any older car will just have to go in and get a system update just to get it.
I think the next time we see something really big, it's going to be a partnership between a company and Apple.
Well, they said,
I see it going a few ways.
Well, they said they have vehicle announcements. Because you guys remember they came out with that car, with the concept for the car. They're supposed to be doing some vehicle announcements in late 2023.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like they're going to have like an agreement with Rivian, Tesla. Somebody's going to build their car around it. Apple might even be looking into building their own EVs.
Yeah.
I have no idea. But because another thing, the car companies integrating that feature is cool. But then I forgot what Google calls theirs. Android, Google. I don't know if it's like Google Play or whatever.
No, is it Android Play?
Android Car.
Or Android
Android
CarPlay
Mobile.
or something like that?
I don't know.
My car too old to have all these features. I ain't got it. But the thing is, with the Apple one, even though a lot of people use iPhones, like, yes, a lot of people use iPhones, that's not the majority.
Mm-hmm.
And Apple is known for having a closed ecosystem. I wonder how well it's going to interact with other vehicles and how will be the ease of access.
I think at the minimum, just because you said that, I think at the minimum, we will just be able to get the dashboard customization features. I think the Gauge part is like that extra step where you need that extra integration, or you're just going to have to get you like an Apple car or something like that. I think at the minimum, everybody is going to be able to get that new dashboard customization feature with iOS 16. And I feel like, because the thing is, the way that they demonstrated it, they put more focus on the dashboard customization than they did on the gauges anyway. So I feel like the dashboard thing is their selling point to begin with.
I think.
Yeah, because they did like a whole strip. Mm-hmm. They did like front dash cam, then the side dash going through like the passenger seat, and then if for like how the Tesla kind of got set, where they basically got a tablet lodged into the what that section of the car be called, the driver interface or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, it was really cool how they had it set up, but it's going to take a car being built around Apple software to fully integrate that.
I agree. I think
they'll just make their own car, and then it'll be like they'll have their own.
Well, they are.
That's where it's leading, with the gauges and everything being included.
That's what it sounded like to me. They said they had vehicle announcements coming in 2023. Now, that could mean we about to debut the first Apple car, or we're about to do a partnership with blah, blah, blah. And these are our Apple cars with this company that you can fully immerse yourself in these CarPlay features.
I'm calling it now. Look, if it's not an Apple car, it's the Tesla Rivian Apple partnership vehicle.
I feel like it's promise you, I see it coming. Because they also do own like other outside avenues. Like, they own the speaker company Solos. Like, they have everything they need.
It just takes,
or they buy out a car company, because that's how they got that's how they got the speakers. They bought out Beats by Dre.
Mm-hmm.
And before they had Apple Music, for those who don't know, Apple Music was a streaming service by Dr. Dre. And Apple bought that streaming service from Dr. Dre and turned it into Apple Music.
And with them updates on the M2 chip and all that other stuff, they making their ecosystem so interconnected. I'm not an Apple fan, but the way all that stuff is so connected, like, you already can get like a Tesla app. Check your Tesla, turn it on, lock the door, and all that. You finna get on the Apple app where you can be like, dang, did I leave something in my car? Let me pull up my iPhone, get inside the camera of my Apple car, see what's in the trunk, what's in the back seat. Let me drive that thing to Pizza Hut to pick it up for me.
Did you see the feature with the MacBooks now that you can put your iPhone and it,
as a webcam?
And it automatically connects? I was like,
that was cold.
It was.
That was cold.
It was. And then they had that focus. I forgot what they called it, but that focus feature.
I got it in my notes.
Where if you move, like, the camera follows you. And I was like, that's
dope. They announced some cool stuff, even with the Apple Wallet, where they got the Apple keys. Like, say if you're going into like a hotel room and you can share with people and all that. It was a lot of convenient stuff, but everything is going completely digital now, which is interesting.
Going back to the Orlando trip, all of our tickets was digital. Like, I remember because the last time I went to Orlando was 7 years ago, and I remember going up to the booth and they would give you this paper ticket that you would have to show. Everything was on my phone. Like, and people had like the little wristbands and stuff that they just tapping on the little Mickey Mouse. I was like, yo, it's Everything is going digital, like theme park tickets. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all.
Look, that carousel of progress is talking about smart home tech and stuff.
Hey,
they ain't see this coming.
Right. I guess it was cool to see that part of the carousel of progress because they were in the 90s, like showing VR and smart home devices. And I was looking at it like, y'all have no idea what we are living.
They have no idea how right they were. They have no idea how right they were.
Yo, like, and they
when
were
the oven
thinking,
misheard them,
they were thinking that this was going to be the 90s. I was like, close,
real close.
But y'all was
30 years later,
y'all was close,
20, 30 years later.
Yeah, it was just you looking at it like the way that they had like VR set up, like, and then you think of like how the Oculus is set up and how PlayStation VR 2 is set up, and it was like you guys have no idea like how on the mark you guys were about half of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
I want to move to another company, not dispute, but another company controversy. So I don't know if this was like last month or whatever when Nike said they were suing StockX because they were selling counterfeit Jordan patent ones.
Actually.
And they came out and like they said they bought a few pairs from StockX and proved that they were counterfeit. So StockX released a video like last week or sometime of a guy authenticating a pair of Jordan patent ones, and he goes through the whole process from verifying the box to the way that the shoe is built to the sole. And I get the intention, but how the fuck does that prove that y'all want selling fake shoes?
So here's the thing. At surface level, I was like, you ain't verified shit, my dude. But StockX arguably cannot give away their trademark process for evaluating shoes and making sure they're legit. Because if they did, that's basically giving the counterfeiters more things to look for on. Okay, if they looking for this, let me make sure I don't mess this up. So it's a reason they couldn't give too many details. But at the same time, it's like, that was kind of pointless. Y'all should have just sent out a notice saying we're going to try our best or something.
Or just had the Nike people come to one of your warehouses or something like that. Y'all making a video to me, it proved nothing. And going back to your point that may have not been the full authentication process just because of counterfeiters who may have been watching the video. What point are you trying to get?
There was no
purpose of putting out that video. Like, and not even thinking that far, my thought process was that's just one pair of Jordan patent ones that y'all found and made sure. I'm pretty sure you made sure before you made the video that they were legit. Then made the video.
Right. And that's another thing. Like, if anything, what I would be excited to hear, because I'm not going to lie, I already knew that some shoes from StockX could be fake. I don't want to check to see if my shoes are fake because I already spent the money. I don't want to be disappointed. But at the same time, it would have made me feel better as a self-acclaimed sneakerhead. I would have loved if they said, hey, we doing some contract work with Nike and the big wigs, Nike, Adidas, and New Balance, to get like one or two people in from each company to check and make sure the shoes are legit, like just to get our verification process in.
Right.
I'd have loved an announcement like that.
Another thing is, okay, because I haven't bought shoes from StockX in a while. Does StockX have the option where you can skip the authentication process and have it shipped straight to you? Because I know Go
don't
does
think so.
You can skip.
Because I didn't
okay,
have an
so
I don't think so.
So let's start there. And we lost Ralph, so hopefully he hops back in. But how did Nike get the shoes? Because I've had this happen to me, and I remember it happened to you, Ryun, that we ordered a pair of shoes from StockX. It got to StockX,
I'm out of memory,
and they were like, "These are fake. they sent you a little notice that these shoes are fake and we're going to give you your money back. How did those shoes even get to Nike? Like, let's not even say that the in stock was Nike. How did that get to somebody and you guys didn't notice that they were fake?
That's the thing. The only thing that shows is that they skipped through the verification process, and it makes me wonder, how are y'all tracking the folks sending in counterfeit shoes? Because I've seen one guy, Seth Fowler on YouTube, where he was like, what if someone's like buying fake shoes and then reselling them on StockX, and now they're just interchanging fake sneakers? Like, you never know. And Nike ain't present any numbers. They ain't say we bought like 1,000 patented ones and only 3 of them were fakes. They ain't say that. They just said we found some fakes.
Now I've seen,
and we don't like that.
I've seen a video of a girl who works, I think she works at GOAT. But I've seen a video of someone, I think it was GOAT, but she works in the verification process. And the way that she was flipping through them shoes, like she was going. Like she was verifying those shoes so fast that if that's the process, and maybe it was just like small areas where if you look close enough, you would know they was fake. So it's really like, I don't know. Did they verify them or did they verify them too fast? Like, were we looking for these 3 spots on the shoes? And if it passed these 3 spots, they're real. But there's a spot that Nike was looking at and it was like, yo, these are fake.
I mean, and we also can't deny the fact that, some of those verifiers, like after you done verified like 500 Yeezy 350 V2s, I'm pretty sure you're probably better at verifying if they're fake than I am. Just being honest. Like, they could have got overconfident or anything, but at the same time, if they sit here and say for like 10 minutes, let me check everything about a shoe. Oh, all of our shoes about to ship 3 months after the fact. Yeah. Because they finna get backed up. They gotta have a supply chain.
And that's what I'm thinking maybe happened. That they were looking for like, so let's talk the video. The guy pointed out 3 specific things about the patent leather ones. Well, 4. The box, but whatever, it's the box. And then the shoe of like how the laces and that V cut in the shoe. The family stitching inside of the shoe. Hold on, I got something for y'all. 1 minute.
And then he bent the sole as well to say that the Jordan 1 is not as supple as the fakes really are. Like, he pointed out some solid details.
Bro, to back up like how all this controversy even started. It started with StockX trying to make their own NFTs out of Nike shoes. And that's where the controversy
It's going to be
really
a sad
started.
day in hell if I find out my shoes fake. So this is what they did. So he pointed out the little V cut. I said, this is going to be a sad day in hell if I find out my shoes fake. But look.
That V look a little tight there.
He pointed out.
Swiggity, swoogity, make that shoe wiggy.
He pointed out the little V cut part. And then like the family stitching in the inside. And then the sole.
He bent the sole. He said they're not as supple. The real ones are hard. They're not as supple as the fakes.
Is your sole soft?
See if you can. Can you bend it, Portia?
Bend what part?
The sole. Like, try to do this at the bottom.
No, like bend it in.
No, from the side.
From the side.
From the side.
Yeah, bend like, it in.
Are they hard?
Yeah, it's bending. Yeah. That is. What do you mean? Is it hard? Oh no. Here we go. Yeah.
We got to end the episode. We got to end the episode. We got to.
I ain't get these from
StockX finna sue us. They finna sue us. We finna get sued by StockX.
No, but I didn't get these from StockX. But I don't know. Based on what the guy did in the video and when I'm looking at my shoe, these look. They look legit. So, but the point that I was making, the reason why I put the shoe out is that maybe those were like those 3 things that they were looking for in regards to the shoe. And then Nike looked at something else and was like, yo, these are actually fake.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? That's the only reason I brought the shoe out. Cause I was like, I got a pair of patent leather ones. Let's figure it out. But
that's why I feel like they should just make an agreement with Nike. Be like, can y'all help us out? Like at the end of the day, we doing the resale market.
I wonder why Nike was trying to buy those shoes from them in the first place, though.
They don't mess with them. They don't like them.
Is it because? Well, I don't know. I guess they don't like them. But could it have been that maybe they noticed that more people had patent leather ones than what they manufactured, and they was like, "Hold on, wait a minute." That could have been it.
I'll say this based off trends. Nike is really starting to capitalize on direct company manufacturer to consumer processes. They got rid of Foot Locker. They want to communicate directly to the consumer. We ship directly to y'all. We got Nike factories. We got all of that. I wonder. I'm not sure. I wonder if Nike said, how about we get back in the resale game and we be the ones reselling our shoes? Because who better to verify if our shoes are real than the manufacturer?
Yeah,
I could see that. It's a stretch. It's a stretch, but I could dang near see Nike making an announcement in like 6 months to a year from now. They saying, "Hey, these are our shoes. We have the right to control how they get handled, even if they get sold to the between consumers. Who's the consumer going to trust first? Nike going to tell me if these shoes that I done bought from them on the resale market are real, or StockX or GOAT?"
I feel you. Yeah, and that could have been it.
And they could charge as much as they can make $1,000 off their own product. They originally marketed for $180. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? And I'm gonna be real. If I see some now that StockX done messed up, I'm gonna be real. It done messed in my head a little bit. If I want, I still want the 11 cool grays. If they $400 on StockX to get verified, but they $420 on Nike, I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna be like, well, I know for sure. That's as sure as I can get that they real from Nike.
Yeah. I stopped the last pair of shoes. I usually get all of my shoes from GOAT, and I haven't had any issues with GOAT. I've had some really good experiences with GOAT. Like one time I had ordered a pair of shoes, and the shoes that they got were like discolored. So they emailed me, they took pictures, they sent me pictures of like the discoloration and all of that. And I think I've only bought like 2 pair of shoes from StockX, and I've had pretty good experiences on that end. But I'm with Ryun. Like the fact that this even came up just makes me question like all of the shoes on StockX.
I don't even want to look at my StockX stickers and that little green medallion thing. Like I don't even want to look at them. I'm just gonna wear all my shoes in pride.
At this point, y'all talking about with these iOS messages, who can you trust? Who the fuck can you trust with these shoes? Like you got like
exactly.
Like you thinking that
and I ain't gonna bust one of my.
You thinking that you got the new pair of cool grays, and it just takes that one person to be like, dog, those are fake.
Right. I got a friend who I can't even give. I don't want to give no hints to how y'all can know who they are, but they wear some fakes, and they know there's some fakes. They family wear some fakes, and one of their family members even posted on Instagram with one of their fakes. I can't even say what the shoe is because I commented on the picture too. Hey, those fire! I know them. Hey, those fire! I know them like $1,000. They on the phone with me. Hey, Ron, I ain't even gonna cap to you. They were fake. My other sneakers fakes too. What you talking about? I'm like, dang.
I had a coworker who wanted the Travis Scott ones with the backwards swoosh so bad.
That's the sneaker it was.
But this what happened. He was like, he said he wanted the shoes so bad that he was willing to buy the fakes. And I was like, bro, what? And okay, now that I said that, let's talk about this. Is this sliding? Is StockX not really doing anything big about it? Because there are people out in the world willing to wear fake shoes.
But the thing is, I'm gonna be real. If I want to be as political as possible, there's a real reason why you shouldn't buy counterfeits. It messes up with the economy, it messes with the companies, and it could be like different bad groups that are trying to affect countries. I don't know which words get flagged on YouTube and stuff. They're like bad groups that want to attack different countries, and they sell some of these counterfeits, and they get funded by selling counterfeits. There's a whole lot of ethical reasons why you should not buy fakes.
Yeah.
You know what's
but
you have people.
I understand.
But you have people who are comfortable. You have people who are comfortable buying counterfeits. That when something like this pops up, like, of course, for all three of us, it raised a red flag because let's just talk Black culture. We are not coming out here wearing fake shoes. I would rather, to quote Dr. Umar, I would rather shit in my hands and clap than walk outside with some fake J's. Walk outside with some fake J's on. But there are people, given my example, there are people out there who are willing to buy counterfeit sneakers, and I feel like that is a big problem.
But here's the thing. The folks who are even comfortable wearing counterfeits, they are not comfortable with being busted out.
That's what a line is.
Okay,
wearing counterfeits.
But that's not that no. There is no line. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you are willing to buy fake shoes, if you are comfortable with buying fake shoes, then you have to be comfortable with the consequences. You will get busted out for wearing fake J's. Like that is unfathomable for you to buy fake shoes and think that nobody is going to say nothing about it.
Listen, bro, I done seen folks with fake J's where there's Michael Jordan's butt crack going all the way up to his back. It's like, what happened to your jump man, my guy? That jump man don't look right, my guy.
Like, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You cannot buy fake shoes and not expect people to say anything about it. If you are going to make the decision to buy fake shoes, I need you to buck up, bro. I need you to bunk up and to own it. That yes, I have on a pair of fake J's. If you are willing to if you are going to pay money for fake J's, you need to own up that you bought fake J's. Like, sometimes you have to take the L. If you cannot afford the real thing, you're going to have to take the L. But if you are going to go and buy the fake shoes, then you might as well lace them bitches up and get ready, because we about to let you know. Them junks fake.
If I would rather, if you're gonna buy some fake shoes, just wear Converse and Vans. Nobody's mad at those. We appreciate those.
Hey, Vans,
go buy you some Reebok. Hey. Go buy some Reeboks. Bring them back in fashion. They come in and out.
New Balance been going hard. They got
New Balance.
New Balance got some nice colorways.
Look. Support Black business. Get some FUBU.
Get some K-Swiss.
Did you really just say FUBU?
Man, support the Black businesses.
Get you some Pumas.
Right. Walmart sneakers look just like Jordans. Walmart got some sneakers.
Get you some N1s.
I'm glad Shaq don't watch this. Lord Jesus, he'll be upset. He'll be so upset.
Man.
You can go to Like, let's just be real. Like, if you don't want to put the money in to be a sneakerhead and actually buy some real sneakers, just get you some Converse or Vans.
You can still buy J's. They're just not going to be the nice J's. You can still
get the flight. Get the flight.
You can still get J's.
The Jordan 22s, whatever they call some flights.
They just not.
You don't need retros.
They just not gonna be the good ones. It's okay. It's okay. Look, we are not making fun of. We are not here to make fun of people who are unfortunate and cannot get real shoes. These are for the people who are paying for fake shoes because they cannot afford the real shoes. This is who this message is for.
I'm going to say this. If you risk getting clowned for wearing fakes, I'm going to say this because I don't want to bust the homeboy out. My homeboy got some J's. Now, they not retros. They look like my Retro 6 DMPs, but they not the retros. They the flight version. And I swear before y'all, 2 of my frat brothers, because me and my homeboy was in a picture together, or I upload on our story, they was like, Ryan, them ain't retros. What's he wearing? I was like, they still Jordans, Ryan. Why you let him walk out with some flights? I said, look, he fly. I was like, now that's how we act. That's how we act as a people with real J's that ain't retros. Yeah. Don't get clowned for wearing fakes.
Come on, y'all.
Don't buy fakes.
Just buy. Just get what you can afford, y'all. It's okay. When I was in high school and college, I wasn't wearing J's, bro. I had a pair of Air Forces and hella Vans because Vans was like $40.
Bro, I went through Converse like this. Air Forces and Converse. That's all I had in high school. I didn't get J's till my first refund check in college.
I had one pair of Air Max, and that's because they were hand-me-downs from my cousin, y'all. Like, please. It's okay. We are going to come up one day.
I ain't get my first pair of Air Maxes, Yeezys until I moved to California and got a real job.
Crazy. Listen,
I'm being real.
I wasn't buying sneakers. I didn't have my own money like that. And then my parents had to buy shoes for me, my sister, and my brother. So it was like we couldn't. We would sit in Foot Locker, and it was like, if you want some Jordans, you getting some flights or some Air Forces. And, you just have to make it do what it do.
Right.
You have to make. So I'm just saying, like, the come up is y'all don't have to buy fake shoes. That's my message. You don't have to buy fake shoes. But I want to move on. I want to move on to the next.
Right. Work your way up.
I want to move on to the next topic. So this past week has just been like a gaming week. I feel like.
I mean, we're coming up on October. We're coming up onto the winter, the back end of 2022. This is when all the games are starting to get
So State of Play
dates, everything.
State of Play happened on, was it the 2nd or the 3rd that State of Play happened? Either way, State of Play happened, and Epic Games had their Summer Game Fest. I want to start with State of Play just because PlayStation. I play PlayStation. I want to start with the fact that, because this is bouncing back off of episode 11, they released some content for the PlayStation VR 2. And if you listen back to episode 11, you remember that we had concerns about the PlayStation VR 2 because it was going to strictly be for PS5. And at the time, the only game that they were marketing for the PlayStation VR 2 was Horizon. So at this State of Play, they showed some gameplay from Resident Evil Village, The Walking Dead.
Look kind of cool.
Resident Evil looked cold.
Resident Evil Village was good.
It looked cold, but it was Resident Evil, The Walking Dead, a game called No Man's Sky, and then they showed some more gameplay footage from Horizon Call of the Mountain. I thought that was pretty cool because that was what I was looking for. My main question was, what are you guys going to put out that makes me want to buy a PlayStation VR 2? And the Horizon gameplay that they showed back in, what was that, January, wasn't doing it for me. But if I wasn't a scary ass bitch, I would buy it to play Resident Evil. But I don't do them zombie games. But I would say the gameplay was, the footage that they showed was cold. But I just want to give kudos. I just want to give kudos to PlayStation for making the effort to put out more PlayStation VR2 to make it worth buying.
See, and that last statement you made, I'm glad that they're still heavily supporting it. Me, will I buy the VR2 for my PS5? I still got a PS4 exclusives to play because last gen I was strictly Xbox. So I still need to catch up anyway. But I am glad that they are going all 10 into supporting their VR2. That Resident Evil, I'm not even a Resident Evil fan. It looked good.
It did.
I'll probably buy that. Don't get mad at me, PlayStation users. I would probably buy that over the Horizon VR game if I was to get a VR2.
Horizon just
it
looked okay. Well, it looked I would say Horizon did look really good for VR. The colors, the dynamic, and like the world that they were showing, it looked really good. I just don't think I would enjoy it myself.
Right. And I'm glad that they supporting it, because honestly, aside from them talking about VR2, the only other things that really caught my eye at State of Play, it caught my eye that they said their Spider-Man game is coming to PC.
Okay, can we talk about that? Can we talk about, they are really stretching. They are really, PlayStation has a couple games that they are really like stretching the lifeline out of. Like they are milking these hoes, and it's not just GTA 5. I commend them for making Spider-Man available on PC. But can we go ahead and hop to Spider-Man 2? Because this is what happened. Spider-Man dropped on PS4. Amazing game. I love it. I'm not gonna knock it. When PS5 dropped and they announced Miles Morales, they came back with the Spider-Man remastered version for PS5. I'm not mad at them for that, though. I'm not mad at them for that. But now we're coming back to a year later, and we still milking the cow to put Spider-Man on PC. I feel them. I just don't want to get into the habit of where we're milking games.
Here's the thing, Phoop. I know we podcasted, so now we got to pay more attention. But as someone who's paid attention to what the gaming community has been talking about for years, we've been complaining about that. It's one thing if you remaster a game we ain't seen in a few years, and we can get that nostalgia. Spider-Man and GTA and Elder Scrolls Skyrim
and Last
are some of the most recent hits. Now The Witcher 3.
You saw that they remastered The Last of Us for PS5.
Yes. The gaming community, the game developers or the publishers, I'll blame all of them, are producing a lot of unfinished games, and now they're starting to produce a whole lot of remasters for good games and making us pay for the same experience. And my whole thing is just create something new and good. But that's wasn't even gonna be my focus. It's just the fact that now I don't think you caught where I was going with that. Sony is putting their exclusives on PC.
Okay.
Microsoft been putting their exclusives on PC. Is it finna get to the point? Where we all might as well just buy gaming PC since our console exclusives are no longer exclusives anymore?
Is Spider-Man the only PlayStation exclusive that's going to PC? Is that the first one that they announced that's going to PC?
I didn't look too deep into it, but that's the first one I can recall. And I think I remember them saying more will come to PC.
Okay.
So is it getting to the point that having a console for its exclusives is no longer relevant? Should we just invest in getting nice gaming PCs? Because originally it was Xbox, and people was like, I don't even see the point in the Xbox no more.
I wonder. So the fact that it's Spider-Man has me thinking two different ways. One, yes, it's a PlayStation exclusive, but it's Spider-Man. Can we emphasize the fact that it's Spider-Man? So there could be another ulterior motive of why they put that on PC. Because if that was the point, if they are moving everything to PC, I feel like maybe that should have been their punchback at Game Pass instead of doing that tier thing that they're starting to do with PlayStation Plus.
But it's like, I don't know, because Spider-Man could have been like a little testing game. Like, let's see how this do. Because the second they
know it's gonna hit. They know it's gonna hit.
But the second they put God of War on PC, Horizon, and then what, Ratchet and Clank, that's their top producing exclusives. And it's going to get to the point, if y'all start releasing y'all new exclusives on PC, like right now, yeah, old ones that's been out for years, cool. But if it gets to the point where your new exclusives are on PC, I'll even say within 6 months, is there a purpose in even buying consoles anymore? Should everybody just save up a few extra $100 and get nice gaming PCs? Because that argument been said about Xbox.
I feel you. I don't know. I agree. I think we just need to see where this goes. Because I was surprised. I was surprised to see that they were putting it on PC.
I just need them to start making new games better instead of just rushing them out. Really, that's it.
Yeah.
They got one new one.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 16 look good. I don't know if y'all are JRPG fans.
So this. Okay.
That look good too.
Those are the two games. Those are the two games that caught my eye from State of Play. I want to start with Street Fighter 6. So Street Fighter 6 has 3 game modes. They have World Tour, which is their campaign, which is giving me like 2K vibes, where you create your fighter and then you go through and battle people and like level up and stuff like that. You have Battle Hub, which is the online play, and then Fighting Ground, which is like your basic fight mode where you pick from the Street Fighter characters and you fight. The other thing that I noticed is that they have 2 control types. They're doing modern controls, which is basically like a simplified version of the classic controls, and then they're letting you do classic controls. But I would say, looking at the trailer, like the colors of it, I love the colors of it. I guess it felt very bright, because like Mortal Kombat is like very dark when they do like their aesthetics and their trailers. It's
ominous,
right?
Yeah.
And Tekken has bright moments, but they have dark moments too. But Street Fighter just felt very bright and in your face. And even like when they went into like the special moves, how they had that set up, I was like, okay, this is catching my eye. So, and then going to Final Fantasy 16, I haven't played Final Fantasy 16, but the trailer looked really good, where I was like, do I want to play Final Fantasy 16?
I'll say this. I've always been an RPG fan. Always. All through life I've been an RPG fan. But I never got to play Final Fantasies because for some reason, back when we was kids, we had to get video games for Christmas and our birthdays, and we didn't have money to buy them. My first introduction to Final Fantasy was 15. And 15, now 14 was an MMORPG. 15 was solid to me. I enjoyed it, but the fans were mad. They had to get a lot of updates, one long quest line, they had to shorten, they had to expand on characters. The fans were mad. I enjoyed it. It was nice and colorful. And then when it got fixed, the fans were happy. 16 looks so good.
16 looks really good.
If y'all ain't played a Final Fantasy as a kind of recent Final Fantasy player, I'd say try it out. The last Dragon Quest game as a JRPG, I'll say try that one. If y'all want to get introduced to JRPGs in this route, I say try Final Fantasy 16. They remastered 7 and a few others, but try 16 because it looks good to me.
Yeah, it looked good. Both of them did. The rest of the games that they debuted, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, more games.
Yeah. Which leads me into Epic Games Summer Game Fest. I'm going to say off the jump that the games that they showed, none of them caught my eye. But what I wanted to speak on this segment was more so why they decided to do a Summer Games Fest. And I think that leads back to the conversation of E3 being canceled. That they had to do something to make up for the fact. That's
the Callisto Protocol didn't catch your eye.
It looked good. I like it.
It's the Callisto Protocol one is when the prisoner guy, right, and he was out here like I can't. So I would say this. What I would commend Summer Games Fest for is that the games did look good. Like the ones that they debuted were really
Witchfire.
They were really nicely done. But I guess it just goes back to the type of games that I like to play.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
So some of them were like, this looks really good, but it's just the type of game that I would like to play. Like the Callisto Project one that you looked up, that the game looked really good. Like as far as like the graphics and the gameplay that they showed, it looked really good, but I was kind of like, I don't think I would play this. I think the closest thing that I would have played was Splitgate. Splitgate looked really good. If I had to pick one that caught my eye, Splitgate did look good.
They showed off your Gotham Knights again, and they also showed Marvel Midnight Suns. Yeah. I'm surprised that didn't catch your eye.
Maybe I didn't. Maybe I watched a different video, but I thought the video. Don't laugh at me. I watched the video that you sent me.
The first one that was like 3 hours long, like the first hour and a half was like Game Fest, and then the second hour and a half was like Day of Devs.
I only saw one video, and it was like 20 minutes long.
Should have did your research.
I don't know. I watched what you sent me, and that's what I saw. Now let's take a Michael Jackson moonwalk step backwards. Now on Twitter I did see more gameplay for Gotham Knights. I already told y'all I was getting Gotham Knights anyway, but I did see the new Gotham Knights gameplay footage on Twitter because they did a Nightwing focused video, and it looked pretty good. Now, the Marvel Midnight Suns, I did see some gameplay for that on Twitter as well. I just didn't see it in the Summer Game Fest video. So I saw them. I just didn't know they showed them as part as Summer Games Fest. Now, if I saw it as part of that video, those definitely would have been on my list. But I guess my conversation was coming from them having the event as a whole, and I think it just goes back to the fact that there is no E3 this year, but E3 is supposed to be coming back in person and digital for 2023. So I guess the question is, who's going to participate in E3? Because we've talked about this before, Ryan, that half of E3 is electronics. But for me, when I watch E3, I was going in for the games. So now that we have Sony State of Play, Nintendo Direct, and Xbox just announced that they're about to do their own showcase, who actually is going to participate?
With their recently acclaimed acquisition of Bethesda, so it's the Xbox Bethesda showcase, and Bethesda used to have their own separate event at E3 like Ubisoft and EA.
So here we go. So who's going to participate in E3 if they come back 2023? How is E3? Do you think that they're going to have to change the way they've been doing E3 to conform to the fact that these publishers have gone off and done their own thing?
I'm gonna be real. I do think they're going to have to change a lot, in my opinion, because Nintendo been dipped. They said Nintendo Directs, direct to consumer. We show it how we want to show it, when we want to show it, and it works. Sony adopted their State of Play, and I'm gonna be real. I love State of Play. I love that it's quick. 30 minutes, here's our new stuff, is coming out. Xbox tomorrow on Sunday is going to be their first showing of the Xbox Bethesda showcase. We might be able to talk about it. I'm not sure. I feel like once Microsoft says, hey, we like doing our own showcase too, that's going to be all three big gaming console manufacturers out of the gate. They're going. Mm-hmm. They're going. We already lost a publisher because Bethesda is tied to Microsoft. Once Ubisoft and EA say they don't feel like participating in E3, that's all they biggest showings.
Yeah.
That's it.
I guess that's...
And my whole thing is they should transition into probably being a demo company or just an event for gamers. There should be just a convention for gamers to like come play demos or something at this point.
Yeah. I mean, so I guess my question is, because I forgot to... Go ahead, Ralph.
I feel like E3 is still going to be a bit important. Mainly depending on what you said. The fact that you can have actual people just come and play the game, as well as also seeing the demo and being there live, like getting that real fan interaction instead of just showing a video, on screen to somebody and just trying to guess how they're going to feel about a certain game, or like how they think a certain game will be, or how they're going to feel about it when they get it, things like that. I feel like E3 is still needed because you want that in-person interaction so you can see if, hey, we're going to have a lot of people that's that's going to buy this game or that's very interested in this game as well. So E3 is still going to be
I think what would be cool, going off of Ralph's point and your point too, Ron, I think what would be cool if State of Play, Nintendo Direct, and the Xbox Bethesda showcase happened before E3, and then it's like, here are the top 3 games that you will be able to play a demo of at E3.
Right.
Yeah. I could see something like that, or even just put a large focus on indie developers. Mm-hmm. Like the small game developers, probably put more of a focus on the mobile developers. I know they still do PC Gamer. Like, get all... I even say, you know what? Get all the content creators up in there too. All the gaming content creators and the Twitch streamers. Yeah. I feel like E3, if they want to stay successful, they need to start expanding their horizons and expanding their agreements. Right. Work with the esports leagues. Mm-hmm. Get some of them up in there. Make it like an event where it's not just gaming and electronics, but the gaming community. Let's talk about them and highlight all of them, and that could probably expand their outreach a little bit more.
Sure. Yeah. I'm interested to see. I agree. I'm very interested to see how they're going to do, because they said it's going to be in person and digital. So I'm interested to see how they're going to find that balance between what's in person and what's digital.
Right.
So, I guess the question I wanted to ask is this Epic Games' first time doing Summer Game Fest? Have they done this before?
So I thought the Game Awards was over Game Fest. This was my first time seeing Game Fest, but I knew that the Game Awards, that's the account that it came from, and the dude's name, I forgot what his name is. Like, I wasn't against it. It was a nice filler for E3, but I haven't heard of Summer Game Fest before.
Okay, so
until now.
That's why I was thinking that this may have been something that they were doing because there is no E3 now. Because E3 is coming back in 2023, they may just plug that back in. Now, it depends. Here's my counter argument. It depends on how much traffic and how much feedback they get from this Summer Games Fest. Right. Now, if they get the big head because of how much traction they got off of it, it may turn into another, we don't need E3. Or here's what we're showing as far as our showcase, and come to E3 to, play a live demo of it.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll just have to see. Mm-hmm. I am looking forward. I am looking forward to the game, to the Summer of Games. We lost Ralph again. He'll be back.
He got that StockX Wi-Fi. It's a counterfeit.
But we really just made it through all of the topics. So, while we wait for Ralph to get back in, I do want to say thanks, Ryan, for joining the episode again. Like I said before, we're going on hiatus until July 2022. I'm not sure when we'll be back, like what's the actual date, but just a reminder, This is our last episode. Until then, there will be no more Versus Tuesdays. So make sure if you haven't caught up on our recent Versus Tuesdays, make sure you do that. Go catch up on some episodes. Go catch up on some mob reviews. Oh, I know what I wanted to tell you. When you brought up the fact that you went to go see Jurassic World, I saw Bob's Burgers, the Bob's Burgers movie yesterday.
How you like it?
That junk is nice. I enjoy every minute of it. Because I like Bob's Burgers anyway. It just felt so Bob's Burgers. And I don't remember the Simpsons movie too much, but I don't remember enjoying the Simpsons movies as much as I enjoy Bob's Burgers.
What's funny, I never really got into the Bob's Burgers series, but it did pique my interest.
So I would say this is that you don't have to know too much about the series to watch the movie, but it was really good. I enjoyed every minute of it.
So I wanted to ask, did you see that Dragon Age Absolution? I know we ain't really talked about Netflix Geek Week, but they got that coming to Netflix in December.
I saw that you sent it. I didn't get to watch the trailer yet, so I'm gonna check that out.
Because you liked Vox Machina, I don't know. Here's the thing. It's still fantasy, Dragon Age, great RPG series. I don't know what type of route in terms of adult animation and storytelling and even just the comic mischief they're going for in the series, but it might be something to check out since it's not till December, and by then House of Dragon and Lord of the Rings might more likely will be done by then.
Okay. Bet. Let's go ahead and end the episode, boys. So Ralph is back. So thanks, Ryan and Ralph, for joining me on another episode. Just a reminder, we are going on hiatus until July 2022. Make sure you also catch us at DreamCon, July 15th through July 17th. If you're headed to the convention, make sure you catch us there. Once again, thanks to everybody who's been listening to us. Thanks for all of the feedback and the interaction we've been getting from the Versus Tuesdays. I've been enjoying doing them, and I'm glad that people have been listening and interacting and commenting. And with that being said, until July, Ralph, lead us out.
Alright, thank you guys for watching and or listening on your respective platforms. Make sure you guys follow us on Instagram at the Blerd Mob Pod. Make sure you guys follow us on Twitter and Facebook at the Blerd Mob. And with that being said, peace.
Expelliarmus.
I don't like you.
Hands up if you love him where you at, stand 10 toes down, shawty ain't no looking man. You can let them haters hate when they answer where I'm smiling.